Hey, my fellow citizens, it's your best president in the universe, Donald Trump. I want to start by thanking my new subs for joining me. We will make YouTube great again. Now, I want to just tell you guys a very sad fact. Very sad. No fact is sadder than this fact. The self-proclaimed throat goat, Lenae Stacks, is a liar. If you all remember, Lenae Stacks was involved in a sexual relationship with Umar before their relationship fell apart. Stacks later went on to have several interviews with Len and Honor and told us about how badly Umar treats his mother, who Lenae left to continue to suffer, and gained a lot of sympathy just like Marianne did, minus the sexual part, allegedly. However, just like Marianne, Lenae Stacks is on here to get clout for being a victim of Umar. Her behavior, as I will show in the following clips, will demonstrate that. However, let's first establish why her behavior is suspect first. As you guys probably know, Stacks and Trip C interrogated Marianne over her fake check scam. In doing so, Lenae promised the following.
Somebody stubbed they told some dumb shit. Now they got to go to the hospital. Now you back.
Marianne, I promise you, if you do not show them check stubs, and this ain't nothing but business, I will drag you across that. You will be after Umar. You have got to get them check stubs because that's that man's channel. You got to get it. You got to get it. I will drag you all through these internet streets. I promise you I will. And it ain't nothing personal.
Lenae, the check.
It ain't nothing personal, baby, because I put my story on that channel too.
He asked me to, we have a relationship to me. Not only am I going to send it to him, I will post it on my channel. So we're repeating the same thing over and over.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds all good, right? She tells Marianne that if she doesn't prove that she actually got the check, she will drag Marianne across these YouTube streets in defense of Len and Honor's reputation. I could respect that. However, not only has she not done that at all, but Lenae would come back later on the live stream and say the following.
Marianne, and y'all please be patient with me on this. I can't go after somebody that I don't think is all there. So at some point during that conversation when I was talking, just like I can't sit up and argue with an elder person if I feel like they're not as quick as they used to be. I can't. I'm trying because of Lennon, what she did to Lennon. If he let me off the leash, I'll drag her. I'll take her, but if something is neurally, and I think Lennon picks this up too, if something's wrong with that woman psychologically or mentally, she was in therapy before she got to Lennon. I cannot, sit up there and drag that woman through the streets and know that she's neurodivergent or she's got problems, because you never know when somebody at the edge. And if you seen how she was yelling on his page, I don't want that on my conscience.
You see how inconsistent that behavior is? Lenae first says that she will drag Marianne down if Ann doesn't prove what she's saying is true, which Lenae never followed through on, but then like one live stream later, she changes her whole demeanor. It's no longer about holding Marianne accountable or defending Honor. Now, it's I can't go after someone who is neurodivergent, ignoring the fact that Lenae is both not a doctor and has zero evidence that Marianne suffers from autism. But even if that were true, Marianne is a full-grown woman, so that argument doesn't hold any weight. The fact remains that Lenae said on live that she would take Marianne down and completely flipped later on by trying to distance herself by making excuses and defending Marianne by claiming she might have mental issues. I know what you're thinking, but Trump, that doesn't prove she lied. And you're right, it doesn't. However, it does establish that her behavior is suspiciously inconsistent, and the next clip will show you exactly how she lied.
Are you defending her now? You'd be out of it if you didn't insert yourself. Ma'am, I'm a grown-ass woman. If I decide to speak on something, why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? It's not about defending. It's about being righteous and fair. Exactly. I mean, and I'm indifferent about her situation. The fact that me and her got off on a rocky start, this woman could have cost me a federal investigation. Playing around. That's why I cut my ties, because I said, hey, I told y'all you cannot be out here talking about that investigation. Nobody listened. And I have the emails. I have the emails of who I told about the investigation. I just did not come public with it. And I said, hey, but she can't be talking about this. She don't want to talk to me. Somebody please tell her. Please tell her to, simmer down. Nobody listened. Nobody listened. And you're not going to cost me a federal investigation or cost me all of this work that I put in to get this where it is. You're not going to cost me that. This is the only reason why I'm on the net. I don't want to do this. And then I got people on childish shit. Like, I don't want to deal with you either. It's not about, okay, gotta hold the standard across the board. You know what? If I feel like if they gonna go on 4-hour filibusters talking about being stand up and being true and being honest and everything, then it's not even my fight. It's not.
You say it's not about defending her, and that it's about being righteous and fair. Yet, how the hell is it fair or righteous of you to tell both us and Marianne that you will hold her accountable for lying to all of us and jeopardizing Lennon Honor's reputation, only to later say, I can't go after her because she might be mentally ill? Not only is that double talk, but now you're talking about her supposedly costing you a federal investigation. There is no federal investigation. There is no public record of an investigation, and you haven't shown us any type of proof that one exists. But even more importantly, how would Mary talking about it put it at risk? For that narrative to be true, you would have to be saying that not only does the investigation have to be real, but that some version of Marianne's story also has to be factual for what she says have to have any effect. However, we can all tell that Marianne's story is fake as hell. That means you are supporting a publicly known lie. Also, how the fuck is this not your fight? You literally said that you would drag this woman down for honor's sake. Now it's suddenly not your fight despite your own words saying that it was previously. This is just one of the many great examples of how you are a fucking liar and a hypocrite.
Number of VNS. But that's what I was telling when it wasn't out. It kind of got let out when we went to court. And that was not my fault either. That was the judge. But then she came out twice. This happened twice. She came out with the class action, and she said that she said something to the effect that he's under an official investigation. People took that and ran with it. And then the next time she came out, she was like, it's an official federal investigation. It's on her page. Okay, the investigation is also fake because I can confirm there is no public record. It's an investigation. It's not fake. I have the receipts. Crazy. And I just don't want anything. I really got bad nerves about this federal investigation. I don't want anything to mess this up. I don't want nothing because to my knowledge, they have tried to do this before and it has collapsed. So when I think it was like the third interview that I went on with the special agent, they tried to investigate him before, but they couldn't get anywhere because of YouTube. And I said, well, I know somebody that know a whole bunch about him. I'm about to give him to the Umarologist. And they were like, no, we don't want to talk to anybody from social media. And I was like, what? So yeah, they don't want to talk to anybody from social media. Marianne, she let a lot out of the bag when she came and gave that information. It's everywhere now.
This shit makes no sense. Not only do you claim that a lawsuit did happen despite the fact there is no public record of Marianne or Lenae Stacks actually suing him, but when I said there was no public record of the investigation, your response was to say, yeah, there is no record cause it's an investigation. And then you claim you have proof that the investigation is real. Yet, Marianne claimed the same fucking thing, and just like her, you never presented this supposed proof. And then your dumbass is going to make up this whole story that not only have there been previous investigations, but they failed because they did not want to use public information or witnesses via YouTube. All of which is based on an alleged series of private meetings with a federal agent that you equally do not have any evidence of being real. Private investigations are still searchable, you fucking idiot. Yeah, you may not be able to see what is on there, but case numbers and files are still searchable. And then you want to tell us the federal government, the very people who use witness testimony and wiretap people all the time would, reject recorded, fully downloadable information, the same type of info that Umar himself uploads all the time? Get the fuck out of here. You're just as bad as Mary fucking Ann.
Like, crazy. No, we can't listen to this. We can't. I was just like, well, this is what it is. And then the things that they were coming back with, it didn't make sense. They're like, well, we can't find any documentation for the court case. I said, well, if it's mediation, you won't be able to find that. She felt some type of way. It's a simple Google search. No, ma'am, you can't. Let me show y'all. But this is where, when you correct people on, look at my duckies, when you correct people on things, then they think that you're coming for them. It clearly says finding the outcome of a business dispute that was only in a mediation is difficult because the mediation is by design confidential and private. Unlike court litigation, which generates public record, private mediation does not require filing documents with a court, meaning there is typically no public record of dispute or its outcome.
This is both not how you acted on Remrum's live stream and is a deliberate case of you either trying to manipulate us or you not understanding how to do research. First and foremost, neither Marianne or Umar are business owners. That alone destroys any possibility of mediation. Even if they were, and you were right that it is not public record, we would still have law firms that made this deal that we could prove were real. We don't have any evidence that the lawyers are real, and the check they supposedly worked out was proven fake. Therefore, I have to ask you, Lenae, why are you denying that you are defending Marianne Lorient when you are both trying to cover her lies about the lawsuit and are doubling down on the lies of a federal investigation by insisting that it's real and you have proof when you don't present any proof either? You even claim that Marianne let the cat out of the bag in that very live stream. All of this points to one of two narratives. Either you and Mary are faking this hostility and working together for clout chasing, which explains why you're defending her and using the same manipulative tactics. Or you aren't working with her, but rather trying to keep the lies going so you can spread more confusion and build your channel up by pretending to stand up for truth. No matter what the truth might be, these facts can't be denied. You are a hypocrite who will lead the charge against someone, only to later claim that it's not your fight and that everyone but you is wrong for doing it. You are also a liar, as you claim a federal investigation is ongoing, has happened in the past, and you blame all of us on YouTube, since apparently the feds don't want to use public information or witnesses in their case against Umar. Marianne Lorient and Lenae Stacks are the real detractors here. They want fame and they want money. Good people like Mind Chaos, Remrum, and Lennon Honor are the real investigative channels on YouTube. These ingrates are just wannabes, and I hope their channels die soon. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe.